Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran and I have for you guys a video of a reason why you might want to do the new AV time walking BG. Honestly, I didn't think I would really be into this. And you old school Ultrac Valley for classic. I tried it on PTR, I thought it was kind of cool, but past that, I didn't really care much about it. But it turns out that it's actually a great source of experience. So if you're someone who's trying to gear up some characters, especially before patch 8.3, you need to be doing this BG as often as you can. Whether you alliance, whether you horde, whether you win or whether you lose, it is still a solid amount of experience no matter how things turn out. I decided to try and get my Demon Hunter up and running to 120. I believe I started around level 116, and in just a couple queues I was able to grind out those 4 levels. Some people are even reporting being able to go from level 110 to 120 in a matter of 3 hours. Again, as long as your queues are good and as long as you are able to win or lose or at least close out the games as soon as possible. The Ultrac Valley event itself offers so much experience that I had no idea. Just from being in the BG itself and participating gives you a tremendous amount, but also winning or losing leaves everybody in a sense a winner because the amount of XP you gain is incredible. I guess Blizzard decided, since this is a limited time event and if anybody even participates rather than, have winners or losers, if you do want to get any of the items and cosmetics, you probably do have to win a lot more than lose, and you do have to get grinding the currency. If you want the mount, you need to grind the currency as well. And for the longest time at the very beginning of this event, people would just make these games last as long as 6 hours, farming the daily repeatable events over and over, collecting as many of those tokens in order to get the mounts as quickly as possible. To get the mount that is for limited time event from either the Horde or Alliance for this AV event, you need to get yourself 200 time war badges earned while playing this brand new, or I guess this classic version of Ultrac Valley for a limited time event. With games lasting 6 hours and people just turning it into a farm fest, it was very an enjoyable experience for a lot of people. The whole point of old school AV is supposed to be to fight the opposite faction. It is supposed to be to win, but the battleground turned to something you queue into and you farm and farm and farm and leave. So Blizzard changed it. They nerfed the amount of tokens you get for the farmable repeatable content, but they increase the amount of time war badges you get for winning and closing out these events, whether you win, whether you lose. With this change, this means that the games close out a lot more often, and that means you can get the end game rewards for participating in this BG, whether you win or lose. And this is why this became a very lucrative way for you to grind extra experience on any characters you're trying to get up to max level. So let's get into what you need to do in order to maximize the experience of this BG. Before you dive into AV, make sure you have a mailbox near you, just to make sure you did open up the 15th anniversary gift that everybody gets on every character from Blizzard. In the actual package itself is going to be a couple things, like one is going to be time walking badges, a firework, an invitation to the Deathwing Mount raid event, but also the buff for 15% extra experience. This applies to a character a little bit differently than how they've done before. In the past it was like a tabard or a buff that you have to reapply every hour, but this one just sticks to the character. The 15% really does make a difference when it comes to farming XP in the new Ultrac Valley event. You also want to make sure you are geared to the teeth in as many heirlooms as possible. I feel like this one should be obvious, but I'll mention it either way. Make sure that every piece of gear that can reward you bonus experience is applied when you are going to get yourself a little bit extra XP for this event. The more XP you can get, the better. You also want to pick up some draughts of 10 lands. Those are sold at the Zuldazar or Kultiras Warfront vendors. You will be able to buy them with a couple of those Warfront badges. Just do a couple dailies in the Warfronts or do the Warfront event itself and you'll acquire plenty. But you want to give yourself as many points of experience bonus as possible. Also, this is something I learned only recently, but if you have some of the PvP trinkets, like the returning champion or maybe defending champion, the returning champion will be available from Darkwind Fair Arena. So that's the hard one that spawns a chest that can be looted only at certain times, as well as Gurabashi Arena. Those would be the trinkets that spawn from those chests. If you're lucky to have any of those give you 50% extra experience in Battlegrounds. The Ultrac Valley event is a Battleground. This would be the biggest increase to your experience if you are lucky to have these trinkets. But even without them, the amount of XP you gain is still quite big with heirlooms on their own. It's just if you want to cheese it even more, you can use the returning champion and defending champion trinkets. Again, make sure you have as many heirlooms increased for all the different experiences that you might be able to increase for your character. When I say that you need to be participating in this BG, I really do mean it. It doesn't matter whether you're great at PvP or really bad at it, whether your team is winning or losing, as long as you're doing something to help your faction contribute to the attempt to play this BG and win the BG, that's all it takes. The BG itself, every minute, awards you quite a bit of XP. Just for participating, just for going into the mines and clearing them out, just for fighting the Alliance or the Horde down the center, or sneaking around the backside securing the towers for your faction. No matter what you do in this battleground, you are always gaining XP every minute on the minute. Sometimes some of the events that you are doing in this BG as well will also gain you XP. So whether it is you capturing, let's say, supplies and bringing them back to your quartermaster, attacking the enemy faction NPCs as well as players, bringing back the armor scraps the first time around to the quartermaster as well, everything gives you experience, as well as winning and losing these battlegrounds. The best parts though, in terms of experience, will be when the game ends, whether your faction wins or loses. If your faction loses, on average, some people get a little bit more, some people get a little less, and I think it is linked to just how much contribution you had in the BG. If you are out there participating in PvP, trying to capture objectives, trying to defend, or trying to attack and killing enemy elites, you probably get a little bit more experience. But if your faction loses this AV Classic, you get about 50% of a level worth of XP. And if the game ends very quickly, let's say you figure out that, hey, my faction, which let's say is the Horde, is losing, we're getting obliterated by the Alliance, maybe it's a good idea for us to maybe just stop and really not try to divert the Alliance. Maybe just let them go in, kill our leader, end this game quickly. In about 20 minutes, you can get 50% of a level. So when leveling from 110 to 120, 20 minutes a level is a little bit better than just questing. Of course, if you win, again, give or take, the numbers give you about a level worth of XP. So a full XP bar just for winning. This also can change a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on what you are doing in the BG. If you are participating a lot, then yes, you're going to get more. If you're not as active in your participation, you're not going to get quite as rewarded. But still, either way, the BG itself and all the different events that you get to do there, what's really cool is just participating, just playing and trying to play the game. It seems to reward you a fair amount of XP, no matter how it turns out. And what's cool about this limited time event, Classic World of Warcraft BG, being applied for retail is the fact that it can be done at any level intervals. You'll see players that are level 60, players that are level 80, players that are max level just trying to farm up the character, and sometimes even players level 11, able to join in and compete with everybody else. Of course, the scaling is going to prefer players that are higher level, players that have every single slot of gear equipped with a piece of loot. So if you are going in as a level 11 character or a level like 15, 20, you're probably not going to be making some crazy plays and helping your team win this BG. But you're at least going to be able to participate, and the XP you gain might be honestly worth. It's also a great place for you to test out your character, and with so many people funneling, if you have been itching for a massive open world experience, if you're not participating in the classic World of Warcraft PvP, for retail WoW, this is actually quite fun. I can tell you, it's been actually quite a bit since I've enjoyed a large-scale PvP scenario, and I feel like Blizzard did a really good job with this one. The lag doesn't really feel that bad, and that's one of the things I complained before in previous BGs. So you guys already know that the experience that you get from this BG is great. But as someone who loves World of Warcraft PvP in general, I'm actually a huge fan of just how stable this is. And I know it's like, it's a big style event, it's by Blizzard, you know, it should be stable for any game company that wants to make a great event, but I really do enjoy this. The fact that it's a limited amount of time that you have before this mount is no longer going to be available, that everybody is farming for, means that there's going to be a healthy number of people queuing for this at any level intervals. The fact that you can be a level 11 character and just queue for this event, or any level character really, and to be able to scale down does mean that you are a more or less competitive playing field against others. Even if it is going to be mostly Zerg fest, here left and right, people are going to be grouping up and you are going to be ran over by like 10 people once or twice while running this, it still is very fun. It also is great for anybody who loves going into time walking events and cheesing them. That means if you are a huge fan of going to time walking and using different legendaries from other expansions or broken items from other expansions or scaling to level 60, then you can. So if you have any crazy builds that you usually go into your time walking dungeons and even time walking raids, you will be able to use them in this BG. While this is a great way of getting XP, I really gotta say, I really do enjoy this event. This is actually a lot of fun, and if I wasn't leveling any more characters, I would be running through them. I right now have a 120 boost left, and I want to level up a Volpera Monk, and that'll be my very last character on the US servers at a 120 level, so I'll have all the characters ready for Shadowlands whenever that is announced and the PTR or the alpha, the beta are available. But this was actually quite enjoyable, and I think this is something you guys should definitely take advantage of if you are leveling any characters. Maybe Blizzard will make this a permanent event. Maybe it'll be like a brawl once in a blue moon that people can join into, the old school classic version of Alterac Valley. But either way, it's a lot of fun, and I think it's more fun than some of the, I guess, the current BGs that we have so far. I do like the playstyle. It feels like there's more agency to this. It feels like there's a lot more fun that can be had with the scaling for it. So I'm actually a huge fan of how, I guess, they've done this whole BG experience. Either way, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. It's a great limited time event for you guys to farm up if you want the EXP. But even if you're someone who just enjoys PvP and want to have a different method of leveling, I actually enjoyed this a lot. This event is a perfect time to level if you want to break up the monotony of questing or doing dungeons. Just for doing PvP and getting a load of XP, yes please. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take advantage of the limited time event of the classic AV, and I'll see all of you guys in another video.